Hi, Mrs. Jacobs here, physics teacher at Naperville North High School, and I'm here to do a tutorial on how to identify the difference between independent, dependent, and control variables in a given experiment. So an independent variable in an experiment is what you are in charge of changing. Okay, as the person running the experiment, you have control, you are able to manipulate the independent variable. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have a ramp with a ball at the top. If position is my independent variable, I'm going to select different positions on the ramp. You could select 10 centimeters, 20 centimeters, 50 centimeters, 100 centimeters. I get to pick the different positions. The dependent variable is what changes in response to the independent variable. Okay, in this situation, this practice example, let's say time is my dependent variable. Okay, I'm going to measure the time that the ball gets to these different positions. Now, I am measuring the time, probably in seconds with a stopwatch. The times will be changing, okay? But I don't have control over the times. I am not the one who's deciding what the times are. I'm deciding the positions, and the time is changing in response to those positions the ball is at. The control variable is what stays constant in the experiment. Okay, what do I need to hold constant in order to study position and time? Okay, one thing would be the mass of the ball. I don't want to change the mass of the ball and change the position, because then I have two different independent variables at the same time. And as experimenters, we only want one independent variable at a time. We want to see how position affects time. Okay, if we wanted to see how mass affects time, that would be a separate experiment, and we would hold position constant. So in this case, we're holding the mass constant. I don't want to change the mass. I also don't want to change the angle of the ramp. I'm not seeing how angle affects time. I'm seeing how position affects time. Also, the ramp itself. You know, I don't want to switch ramps from aluminum to wood or something like that. I want the surface to be the same. Okay, so it's what you hold. There's going to be multiple control variables usually in an experiment that you want to hold constant. Okay, let's do some practice questions. Practice question number 1. A research student is testing how much sunlight affects the growth of a sunflower plant. Identify the different variables they would use in this experiment. Okay. As a researcher, you can manipulate how much sunlight the plant is getting. So the amount of sunlight is what you are in charge of changing. And probably that would be in hours or minutes or something like that. You could have, you know, this plant gets 1 hour of sunlight, this plant gets 2, this plant gets 7, okay? The dependent would be the height of the plant, probably in centimeters or meters, okay? Yes, that height is going to change, and yes, I'm going to measure it, but it's going to change in response to the amount of sunlight. The control variable, what do I need to hold constant? The type of sunflower. Okay, I can't use different species. The amount of soil and the type of soil, the amount of water, the location of the plant. Where is it? Is it outside, on the ground? Is it near a window? Is it in a greenhouse? Where is it? Okay, I don't really have control over the weather, so that would be something that's difficult to control. You could really, if you just did it like a grow lamp or a heat lamp or something like that, that would be a more controlled experiment to set this one up, because then you have control over how much sunlight there is. Practice question number 2. A race car driver is seeing how fast his car can speed up. He measures the speed of the car at different times. Identify the different variables he is using in this experiment. He is in charge of different times. Time is his independent variable. He's going to select different times, probably in seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, something like that. The dependent is he's measuring the speed. How fast is the car going? Probably in miles per hour or meters per second with his speedometer. Okay. That speed is depending on the time. I'm measuring both of them, but I am in charge of manipulating the time. What do I need to hold constant? What's my control variable? The road conditions, where I'm driving it. Is it wet or dry? The car itself, I'm not going to switch cars. And probably how much he's pressing the gas pedal. So that he's pushing the same force, so he's speeding up, not different amounts in different trials that he's running. Hopefully this was helpful to understand how to identify the different types of variables in an experiment.